Hi, I'm Brittany.
And this is Jen. Welcome to the Village Homeschoolers.
Today we're going to talk about time management. Welcome to the village.
Hi.
I know we're profoundly riveting as we discuss everyone's favorite topic, time management. So I don't even remember how this one started. It was about a month ago. I texted Jen and I was like, I'm going to do a podcast on time management. I think somebody gave me the old, well, I just don't have time for that. In an effort to be empathetic, I think people say they don't have time because they're stressed and they have a lot on their plates right now. And when they don't want to learn necessarily a new skill, they feel like what we do, especially when we're like, hey, you should start a co-op, especially when we get contacted by people who don't live near us or on the very bottom of our very long waiting list to get into our co-op, we're like, oh, you should start your own. And, they're like, but I don't have that kind of time. And this always is majorly insulting to me. So I'm like, want to yell back, you think I do? But that's not very kind. And I also understand that.
You also have an unnatural ability to take on a lot of responsibilities that even I can't handle.
Well, that's true. Everybody has a different ability to handle things. But
you definitely have a higher tolerance for activities than I have.
But
so you're personally insulting me, Brittany.
I'm sorry. Jen has no time management. You actually have okay time management. I think you really do. I think a lot of people in our co-op actually have really good time management. And I don't think this just applies to people who are trying to lead a co-op. I think it applies to anybody trying to belong to one and invest in one, which if you belong to one, you should be investing in one. That's the whole point of a community. So we're going to talk about what we do because it is a lot. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but before we were leading our co-op, we were in some meeting with a bunch of other co-op parents, just as parents, and other leaders were leading at the time. And one member, who is not in our co-op anymore, she said, if the leaders have to do any more responsibility, they should get paid for it. And every time this comes up, I laugh loudly, and Jen laughs loudly because we do way more because the co-op's grown so much.
Back when it was just like 30, 40 people and 8 leaders or whatever.
Now we're like 100 something, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the reality of the situation is we're investing in the community and this is what we do. This is how we invest. And so other people invest different ways and we acknowledge that. But time is what we invest. We don't get paid. We're investing time and we get, our kids and our families get something back from it. So how do we invest the time when you don't feel like you have any? Because I don't feel like I have any. My sister-in-law was in my house a couple weeks ago and she looked at my calendar and goes, oh gosh, that gives me anxiety. And so no, it's not like we have tons of time. I think you just have to, first off, if your natural inclination is to say, I don't have time for that, find out why. Because you may not physically have time for that. There's every possibility in the world that could happen. Or is it that I don't want to commit to something that seems real wishy-washy and learn new tricks and learn new systems and do the work? Because that's scary.
Well, for me, I like to do things immediately so that it doesn't build up. So I'm like, okay, this will take 5 minutes now, but if I wait and 20 other tasks pop up, it's going to take 2 hours of my time, right?
No, I'm totally the same way. And I think when it's something big, like investing in a community, teaching a class, leading a co-op, organizing field trips, people just are intimidated more than the fact that they don't actually have the time. And so they dismiss it. So I think you have to be really honest with yourself and say, why am I saying I don't have the time? Do I work 80 hours a week and have 4 children that I'm homeschooling? Or am I
just an introvert?
Or am I scared of what this is going to look like? I mean, I think it is a crazy time in the world and in history, although we say that, isn't that always the case? Everybody is busy. You have to acknowledge that sometimes if you aren't going to do it, somebody else isn't going to do it either. So if not you, who?
Yep.
Right? And that's how we ended up doing this.
Yeah, because everybody's like, we're not doing it unless somebody steps up and is like,
we're like, okay, I guess it's going to be us.
Yeah.
I'm as good as the next person, or as bad as the next person.
Can't get much worse than me.
Right. Yeah, So here we go. If you're willing to risk it with me, and bless it, they were.
Yeah. But 4 years later.
Yeah. Here we are. So I think that's a big part of it. I think you have to just kind of get real with yourself and go, okay, if I'm not going to do this, we're not going to learn Spanish this session.
Yeah.
We're not going to have field trips to go on this session. We're not going to have a co-op.
We're not going to have friends.
Yes. And that's it. Where's your priority lying here? Basic needs have to be met. People in your family have to be clothed and fed and housed. Roofed. Oh boy. More coffee, please. They have to be housed. But once all that's done and taken care of, where's the priority lie? If you have that all taken care of and have the energy to figure that out, is a community your priority? Is there a way for you to invest and get back what your family and your children and you need? Is this worth it for me? And if it is, start to look into what you're going to gain. Why is it that you're a priority? What are you going to gain? There's going to be risk anytime you invest anything, money, time, all that, right? Mm-hmm. That's risk, but there's reward. And that's how I kind of see it. When I get really stressed, I'm like, this is the risk, but also look at the reward.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things I don't go to, but I'm glad I go usually afterwards.
Right.
Usually.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
Because my child had a good time, or
learn something cool.
Yeah, or made my friends feel good because I showed them I cared.
Right. Or actually enjoyed being around us, Jen.
Oh, there's that too, I guess.
So yeah, there is risk when you start to prioritize and invest, but there is reward. Now, I think the other thing is, like, as Americans, we're so like money, 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 focus, focus, focus. And that, I get that. But also, like, time is money, and investing time, like, is very valuable. So if you look at the fact that you're investing time and or money, like, you're going to get something out of it. So jump on in and fully invest that time and fully realize this is worth it. Yes, it's giving something up. Maybe it's giving up your time to watch Downton Abbey reruns. The movie's coming out soon, so we all got to catch up. Maybe it's something like that, but it's probably going to be worth it. That kind of thing. Now, it gets a little trickier if you really love the introverted freedom of waking up and seeing where the day is going to take you. Mm-hmm. Then you have to decide how important that is to you before you start, because time's going to go away.
Yeah.
Freedom, it's a different kind of freedom. It's going to go away. You're going to have things on your schedule. You're going to have commitments.
Yeah. Sometimes daily. Like we said, we had CoOp yesterday, and today we're doing this, and we have something this evening to do, and then we have something tomorrow to do. We have something Monday to do.
Yeah. It's a busy month for us. And so, I'm feeling...
it's intense.
It's a little bit intense, and that is going to happen to you. Mm-hmm. So you have to decide if it's worth it. We've decided it's worth it for us, but something to consider. And then, start to think, okay, I've committed. I've decided it's worth it. I've decided this is a priority for my family. What am I going to do now? And I actually work with another organization that I don't even need to get into. And when we talk about time management with the volunteers that are in our organization, we always talking about finding hidden time. So that's always, I don't know how much you do this, Jen, but for me, that looks like I normally have like this 25-minute window. It's not 30 minutes, about 25 minutes, when I finished working with my kids for schoolwork. They normally at that point go outside, or they'll sometimes, if we're getting ready to go to a practice or something like that, they'll start to clean up and get dressed and all that stuff. And I have this like 25 minutes where I can sit down and do something. And maybe it's answer emails, and that's it. Maybe it's text Jen a few things that we need to talk about at our next meeting or whatever. But I have this little tiny chunk of time where I can get a shocking amount done. And I think it's our human nature to dismiss 20 minutes and go, it's just 20 minutes. I'll sit here, have a cup of coffee, and then go to baseball practice. But I actually get a lot of my co-op work done in that 25 minutes.
You also don't need a lot of downtime, do you? I need a stupid amount of downtime.
I think it depends. So I'll talk about that in a minute, because I think it depends. I'm going to talk about downtime and how I do that. So you're saying you physically can't put things in those 20 minutes because you would.
Yeah.
perish.
I know when I'm overdoing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can't.
So you don't look for hidden pockets of time?
No. I just don't do things if I know that I cannot mentally handle it.
So what if you had to do it? What would you do? Do wait.
Depends on what it is, right?
Yeah.
I power through a lot of things, but then the next week I will be a grouchy.
Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting. So for me, that's like, I have to look at the schedule and go, I can do this right now. You know what I often do in my hidden moments? I order my interlibrary loan library books. Not even a homeschooling thing, but like then I don't have to do it. Like I have time later to do homeschool co-op stuff when instead I'm doing that. Yeah, so that works for me. Doesn't work for Jen.
No.
But my next tip is to know yourself. And Jen's like, okay, I know my schedule. And if I push, I'm going to be
burnout,
incapable of functioning the next week.
And my son's the same exact way. He cannot be overscheduled. He
Right.
likes the idea of doing things. But then when it's happening, he's like, no, I just want to do nothing today.
Right.
So I need to accommodate that as well.
Right. So I think that's true. You have to know yourself. And I think that requires some forethought. So maybe what you're saying is you look at the schedule and you plan your work time accordingly. Right. And I think I get that because I'm a little bit like that too. And that's why I think I do the hidden time because I'm like, okay, I have this 3 to 3:30. I can do this before we go to baseball practice. And if I do it now, I hate working at night. Like I hate it. Like if you after 7 o'clock, if you're like, can you answer an email? I'm like, why? Do you want to hurt me? You know, like I don't know. I just, nighttime, my motivation is super low. I struggle to even like fold a load of laundry sitting on my bed at nighttime. I don't. So I know I have to get it done. And it's better for me to find the hidden 20, 30 minutes in the afternoon or the morning than to do it in the evening. So yeah, you have to know yourself. Everybody's different, right? And don't apologize for your working style. I think that's super important. Like people are like, well, this is how I do it. Now, I am type A. I don't procrastinate. Procrastinating is I will be breathing into a paper bag, anxiety attack, full blown if I wait till the last minute. As it is. And I can unpack why, but we don't have that kind of time. Yeah, I'm just not so I am somebody who likes things to be done well in advance, but not a lot of people are like that.
I'm not even like that. I don't like procrastination, but I'm not type A at all. So I just get it done.
Yeah. You don't like I don't know. But like, I know a lot of people who I'm very good friends with who do things at the last minute and they do perfectly well.
My husband's one of them.
Yeah. And I have to like leave them alone, which is hard for me. But I do believe that my working style works for me and their working style works for them. And
But I understand because my husband will wake me up at literally 3 a.m. and be like, I didn't do any of this prep work for my class in 3 hours. Can you help me with that?
And you're like, no.
Yeah, you should have done this weeks ago. Like, this is not a new thing. You've planned it. You wrote a schedule. Like, why can't you just do it?
Right.
But he works better under pressure.
That's his working style.
That's his working style. He does great. It's stark contrast to my working style, which is I want to do it immediately.
Right. Or I'm going to be stressed out.
Yeah.
And mine is, I think of every worst case scenario that possibly could go wrong. And so if I have to be in the ER with a child with broken legs, I am not going to be able to finish the co-op calendar for June.
And so, yeah, I'm like that, but I'm not thinking about that. It's just like, I'm going to mess this up if I wait.
Oh, yours is what yeah. See, mine is like, this could go horribly wrong in every way possible. And you're like, I'll mess this up.
Yeah, I just have no self-esteem.
That's super silly. Oh, man. So all that to say, know how you work and let's, then use the time that you work. And if you are a procrastinator, then don't don't plan something the night before something is due or the night before you're going to teach a big class or the night before.
Because you get real agitated when, hate bringing up my husband for this one, but he doesn't listen anyway. So I can insult him openly. He will.
He's friends with mine though, and my husband edits this. They'll be at work complaining about us.
Brittany will set a deadline at midnight on a certain date, and John will turn his in at 1 o'clock.
Well, I'm long asleep at least.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning and shake my fist at 5:30 a.m.
And I'm like, Brittany's going to kill you. And then I'm going to feel bad about that.
It's really, yeah, murder is generally frowned upon. It's, you know what is funny for me though, this is my inner demon though, because I do believe everybody's different and you have to honor who you are and how you work. And so I really just rein in my own anxiety when I'm dealing with people like your husband or other really good friends of ours. I'm just like, they're going to be fine. They're going to hand it in. They've never let you down. They love you very much. You're going to be okay. Just calm down, blah, blah, blah.
But you have to realize that if you're working with somebody else as a leader, right?
Yeah.
If I was one of those people that would drive you nuts, you probably couldn't work with me.
Yeah. Or I would start to lie and be like, it's due in July 10th when it's really due July 30th. And that would not be good for us. But
no.
Yeah, because honesty is really, you need that when you have trust. But yeah, I think that would, well, I just did something. I don't know if anyone knows. So I don't know if you noticed this. So I moved a deadline a week earlier because I looked at when they were going to put it and I was like, this is giving me anxiety. This only gives us, you're going to laugh. Those of you who are not type A are going to get it or not are going to laugh at me. And those type A people are going to laugh. I looked at a deadline we have in July and I was like, I can't do this. What if something happens in 15 days? 15 days wasn't enough time for me. So I moved it a week earlier. So now I have 22 days to do what we need to do. And I'm like, that allows for enough time for emergencies. If you're listening to this and you're one of those people, the deadline is still the deadline.
They did not just give you a week buffer.
Yeah, I did not give you a buffer. I mean, so yeah, but it was, normally we allow 14, 15 days. And this time I was like, I need another week. And so I moved it up. And I think that is something that would happen a lot if I worked with somebody that was a last minute person that likes the pressure of last minute performance. Or we would have totally different venue. I'd be like, you're going to do all the stuff that I don't ever look at. And I'm going to do all the stuff you don't ever look at. And we're just going to coexist. Yeah. I think you do need to block off time. So and everyone's going to laugh, I'm such a calendar person. Are you a calendar person?
I have to write everything on a calendar so I don't forget.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have chickens. You have to feed chickens every day.
That's on your calendar?
I write in my planner.
Feed chickens?
Every day. I write everything down.
Oh, no.
There's another homeschool podcaster, Pam Barnhill, who does Our Morning Basket. She calls me, and people like me, the checklist mom.
Oh, God, no, I hate checklists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I love a good checklist. It makes me feel safe. It's like a safety thing, I think.
Do you actually finish your checklist?
Yes. Almost every time.
I have seen your checklist once where it said like dust and it had a checklist. And I was like, I would never dust if it was on the checklist. I'd be like, F you checklist.
We've established Jen's a little oppositional. Yes, I almost do. Now, I will get up in the morning and go, oh, well, my child got bit by a tick and now I've got to go figure out if he has Lyme disease. And again.
Oh my God, everything's a worst case scenario.
Yeah. For the record. Well, this happened to me. I woke up and we pulled a really big tick off my little guy. And I was like, great, now I got to go to the doctor. So I went to the pediatrician that morning and I immediately rewrote my list because I was like, you know what's not going to happen? Vacuuming my darn stairs. You know what else isn't going to happen? This, and this. But I will rewrite the checklist because I can't not. And I rewrote the next days because I had to add stuff onto the next day. So, and you've not seen this because I keep this crazy really well hidden, but if I have to do co-op stuff, I write it in the checklist. So like tomorrow I have to put an email out and I have like write, edit, and post email.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an intensity I cannot.
So I block off a lot. I block off time because if I write it down, it's like a self-binding contract. It's almost like a blood oath. Not really, but I feel like I am obligated to myself. Now. It's just me, and so I block off that time. I don't think you have to write it down, but I think you have to allow yourself to block off time for when you have to do stuff. I won't
commit to myself, but if you said, Jen, I need you to do this tomorrow, then I'd be like, okay, it's a blood oath now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. That's interesting.
But I won't do it for myself.
So how do you block off time?
Whatever. I just find it.
Do I have to always tell you what to do? No, I'm kidding.
A little bit.
Like, Jen, post the email. Jen.
And what happened when you didn't tell me to post the email this week and I forgot it?
Oh my gosh, I forgot that happened yesterday.
Because I didn't put it on my calendar.
It's true.
Because I forget.
That's where the public flogging joke came from.
Yeah.
You guys no idea what we're talking about. So on Tuesdays, Jen sends a email to the team that cleans the co-op building. It's her job. and that's her area, and I don't even touch it. But I guess I forgot to. I don't normally tell you to send that email, do I?
No,
but you didn't block off the time. See,
that's true.
Block off the time, people. So yeah, she forgot to send the email. It's interesting.
Oh, well, everybody cleaned.
They did.
Anyway,
they did.
Yeah, it's week 7 of co-op. They know by now.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true. Yeah, but I really try, like, if it's my time to do my co-op work, I try not to do my other jobs. I try not to, like, my little guy came down this morning and I was trying to do something. He's like, Mom, he wanted me to go get his baseball uniform for a game that was in 5 hours. And I was like, buddy, I will go help you find your baseball uniform in 15 minutes. But I have to finish doing this. I try not to mix what I'm doing. I'm not answering my other 2 emails I have when I'm doing co-op stuff. I'm not answering co-op stuff when I'm doing my other organization I work with.
Well, I mean, I kind of had to do that. I had to tell my son to stop talking to me.
Yeah.
Because he kept being like, look at this, ha ha ha, look at this. Like, he was watching clean memes or something on the TV while I was trying to write stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, just shut up.
She never would say that to her child. She's the softest mother ever.
Yeah.
But yes, but I know. And yeah, you have to, like, compartmentalize the time and kind of honor and respect it and really not mix the causes that you're doing most of the time. I want to come back to the mixing of the causes because I actually mix enjoyment and work. Maybe that's because I'm a little bit of a weirdo.
Because you really enjoy checklists.
Yeah, yes, I do. But the other thing I think that's really important, and actually I think this is where you are really good, is to get your whole family on board.
Yeah, everybody is
and like
part of it.
Not that my husband is super supportive. My kids are super supportive. And my oldest kids now get, like, if mom does this, then this happens at co-op and it's super fun. So they are my little guy is still not there yet, but he'll get there. And my husband's super supportive, but, like, your husband is, like, really invested.
So invested.
Yeah. So I think if your whole family is on board with whatever you're building and doing, it's hugely helpful because all you have to say is, I need to do this for co-op. Can you do the dishes?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, co-op's a priority. Homeschool group's a priority. And so I'm going to
And that's why I'll get up at 3 a.m. and help him with his Legos because I know it's for my own child and everybody else's child.
Yeah.
Even if I hate every second of it.
Yeah. Yep. That's why your husband's the laundry guy.
Not for the past month.
Oh.
I've had to do my own laundry.
Oh my God. And you made it?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of made my son do it a little bit.
Well, he's old enough.
It's a good life experience,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But I think that, how he helps you find more time. So, and we also know he's particular about his laundry.
Yeah. That's really, I was more fired from the job.
Yeah.
It's not that I refused to do it. It was...
yeah. So, yeah, I think that's getting your family on board is super helpful. And if they're not willing to kind of help you manage your time and prioritize this, it can be a lot rockier. Now, that being said, we don't always need our spouses and children to weigh in on every decision. This happens in my house with my kids. They're like, Mom, we want to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but you're 3 children of 102 in the co-op. So I'm so sorry, but you don't get priority.
Yeah.
You have to participate in the democratic process like everybody else. So there is, my kids have lots of opinions and they would like me to, in a perfect world, do everything they want at co-op.
Yeah.
And Mom, I want to do that class. Well, no one else want to do that class, buddy. So sorry. That kind of thing. And yours is your husband. He has lots of opinions.
He has lots of opinions.
Yeah. And so we've actually both times had to be like, sometimes we just need to not tell our kids and our spouses things until it's time for the kids and spouses to know. Yeah. Because we don't need them to weigh in before everybody else is weighing in.
I also think a lot of, not all men, but a lot of men want to solve problems. So when you tell a man something that they think you're telling them to solve the problem, where I'm just telling him to tell him.
Yeah. I get that a little bit because I'm a little bit like that too, even as a woman.
Oh, you like trying to solve problems?
Well, especially if you're, like, really devastated by it. Like, when people come to me over and over and are in just, like, not talking about co-op, but just in general, or, like, having all these things, I'm like, okay, but we've talked about it. Like, what can we do to help you? And they don't really want me to help them. And that's hard for me because I'm we'll talk
a good friend.
I think it's personality a little bit more than it's a good friend, because you don't even have to be particularly close to me. And I'm like, this is what I think you should do. People are like, I didn't ask you, woman at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get that a little bit. But sometimes, yeah, it's just decompressing. So you need your family on board, but you need to also have boundaries with your family. Is what we're saying. Yeah. You need to communicate very clearly with yourself, with others. Like, and we actually have somebody, she is a last minute person, and she'll just say that. I mean, she's just like, you're not going to get it from me till the night before, but you're going to get it. Okay, cool. That's fine.
We accept it and we plan for that.
And it's nice of you to tell people that so that they can plan for it. So for those of us who are sitting over here, like thinking about anxiety meds, you know, that we are able to emotionally prepare for that. And then and I tell people, I am super type A about deadlines. I'm really anxious about them. You're going to just have to tell me to calm down.
Yeah.
They all know I'm neurotic, you know? So yeah. And then this is hard. Time, if you are not willing to delegate things, time management's hard.
Yeah. Brittany.
It's really hard. Look at my notes. Hard for control freaks. I have no idea what that's like.
We spoke about having another leader, and Brittany just wanted to give that person my work.
I was like, well, no.
And she's like, do you have more downtime? I don't need more downtime.
No.
You do.
Let me. Well, okay, so this goes back to also communicating your style. I am different than you, so we need different things. And again, this goes back to me wanting to solve problems, because one of the jobs I was trying to tell Jen that this new person should have, Jen hates doing. And I was like, you're miserable. Just give it to this person. She's like ready to, she's, you know, different
Fresh.
Personality.
Yeah.
And she'll revel in it. And I was like, no.
Like, what do I
You
do
give
then?
her something. And I was like, what am I going to give her?
Yeah.
I can't give her anything else.
And then she tried to say that me cleaning the facilities was some super important job. I'm like,
it is a super important job.
All right, I get that I'm the facilities manager, i.e. the janitor.
It's not just cleaning.
Yeah.
She holds the keys.
Oh,
she makes the reservations for all of our places that we have to go.
I have keys.
I won't even touch the keys. Again, there's a little bit of that.
So yes, I'm
neurotic.
the first one there and the last one to leave. So there's that. But that is for, 8 weeks of classes.
Not always, because you have to make the reservations for other places and
Yeah.
hold those keys.
But it's true.
I
got
sound
another set of keys.
patronizing, and I'm not even meaning to. Oh gosh. But yeah, it's hard to delegate things, but I think what you have to keep in mind is do what you like to do and let others do what they like to do, because that's really what it comes down to.
Well, I like helping, so
I know. I like to do a lot of my jobs, and the one job I don't like to do, I'm about to outsource.
yeah. So that one's we're all fine with outsourcing.
Yeah, and that. If it hurts, man, don't find somebody else that likes to do it, because there are people that like to do it. There are money people. There are events people. There are academic people. There are communicators. There are organizers and people who are committed to, your motivation is to other people. So you're going to be there with that darn key to unlock and maintain that facility and help.
And I'm not grossed out easily, so it's fine for me to clean up at the end of the day. Or some people are like, I will never do that job. And I'm like,
yeah.
why do you care?
We have people who teach just because they don't want to clean.
Yeah. Which to me, I'm like, cleaning's the easy part. I don't have to interact with people.
And plan. It's, just, yeah. No, it is, I think you have to know yourself, really, is what the overall thread of this conversation is. I do think you have to acknowledge that generational knowledge is important, though. Yeah. So even we were having this conversation about bringing in other people to help us because our group's getting really big. And I'm like, honestly, half of what we do, we just need a backup.
Mm-hmm. Bodies.
And that's not to denigrate what these people are bringing to the table. But one, you're not going to homeschool forever, and you're not going to lead a homeschool co-op forever or teach in one or whatever
we joke about homeschooling our grandkids,
right.
But we are going to have to give up the reins at some point in time.
Yes, yeah, we are. And two, it's like this has happened to us, and this is very indicative of the time we live in, but we've had multiple times. I went to co-op last month with a raging sinus infection. It was horrible. I had a horrible headache. I looked horrible. I just wanted to lie down and go to sleep. I had blood coming out of my nose. But our other co-op leader was really sick, like viral sick. So she could not come. One, she couldn't stand up.
Yeah, and she had sick children.
And she had sick children and a tiny baby, and she would have given it to everybody, where my sinus infection wasn't contagious. I was like, I can't leave Jen to do 3 people's jobs, which are really more than 3 people's jobs, but we've been managing them as 3 people's jobs. And so I went. Jen went to CoOp in the fall the day after she had surgery because we had an illness and we had this happen and we had this happen. Jen's like, I can't leave you. It would have been me there alone that time. She's like, I can't leave you there alone. And so we've realized we need backup.
Yeah.
So if we need other people who know how to do what we do, because right now the 3 of us that lead our co-op, we're the only ones that know some of the former leaders might know some of it, but it's changed some. And so I'm like, so that's kind of that's actually a goal we're working on this summer, is teaching other people how to do this.
Because we should be able to have a day off.
Yeah. And if you've had surgery.
Yeah.
Or you have a sinus infection and need to go get something at the doctor. Yeah. That generational knowledge is super important. So it's important to include other people and delegate your own job, even if you're still doing it. Teach other people how to do it.
Yeah.
So you have, when time management goes to heck, because life is going to happen no matter how type A you are, Brittany. Life is going to happen, and somebody's going to have an ER visit. Somebody, there's life, death, birth, car accidents, whatever. When all that happens, you need somebody else that can back you up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you can trust.
Yes, exactly. I think for me, time is respect too. And so we've talked about this before, that Jen needs the ritual of apology, right? Apologize and tell me you love me. That's how Jen works.
You've been doing a lot recently, Brittany. I appreciate that. But
we
seem like star-crossed lovers now.
Yeah.
Hormonal teenagers tell each other love each other all the time.
Well, I just wanted to affirm that I care about you. I am somebody who needs you to acknowledge that you respect the time I've given up to do something. I have realized that over the last couple of years.
So what do you need from me?
You respect the time that I give up.
All right.
You try to give me more time, even when I don't want it.
Even though you refused.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. You're going to pry it out of my cold, dead hands, Jen. Yeah.
And then we're like, I don't know what she does. Good luck.
Well, that's really what it came down to is, well, that goes back to that generational knowledge, but yeah.
But she's like a typical boomer, like a...
Thanks.
Like, I'm not going to tell you what I do, so good luck, buddy.
Well, it's just like, once I start listing it out, it kind of like comes this like labyrinth of things. Everything's connected. And I'm sure that's the case for other people too. I just don't know what they do either, because we've stayed in our lanes a long time.
This is true.
Yeah. But I think, so I think it is helpful to understand and respect people's time. So you're giving up this, you're managing your time, you're taking those 20 minutes out of your day before you take your kid to baseball practice to send this email, to confirm I've paid and signed my kids up, to make sure my kids are registered for classes. Please be, please at least be respectful of that time. I think that's really important. And so like, I was talking to somebody who's talking about teaching a class for us in the fall, and she's an artist and she's super creative. And she's like nervous about filling out like, well, what do I write down? Like, art is art. And I'm like,
we literally just write.
Yeah.
I was making an owl today.
I was like, and she runs her own business. And I was like, I don't want to be disrespectful of your time. So I'm going to, this is kind of what I'm thinking would be good. If I were to put like a huge parameter on her, like I need this and this and this and this and this and this and this outlined in 10 pages of your class that you're going to teach, that would be super disrespectful of her time, because she knows what she's doing. She's taught before. She has amazing artistic skills, and the kids will learn so much from her.
And it's a little bit easier to have a backup, because we really do the teacher's plan. So if she's absent, somebody can fill in.
You have to kind of acknowledge people's time and be respectful of it. And then you can even demand that respect in return. I think we've gotten better at this over time. We're not great. Like I just said, there's a parents' night out, and somebody was like, oh, are we going to dinner? And I was like, I don't know. Somebody should pick it. And I'll post it on the website. That's what I said. And it got like kind of quiet for a minute. But they're really used to the leaders, not just me, but Jen and our other leader planning a lot of that stuff. And I don't have the emotional energy to figure out a restaurant where we can all eat, where we can all sit down and have a reservation and all that stuff. And so I'm like, okay, like somebody will figure out if they want to or they won't. And we'll just do the thing we were going to do after, and we won't go to dinner beforehand. And it's going to be okay. And if somebody asks me why, and that has happened in the recent past, well, why didn't we make a reservation.
Nobody planned it.
Because it wasn't my job.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry, but I have too much on my plate right now. And
well, I mean, there's a lot of people don't realize what we do a lot of times.
Right.
Because we don't complain about it that often.
well, we're not really complaining. It's our job and we don't mind doing it. But there's like acknowledge that people are doing a job.
I don't think people realize we're doing a job, though. Like, they don't
maybe
realize
not.
that.
Maybe not.
I think they just think things spontaneously appear on the website.
Maybe. And yeah. And I think there's ups and downs too. Like there's a seasonality to the job. Like it gets really heavy workload in August for us.
Yeah.
When we're registering people so we can do our fall session in September. And so that's a lot of time. But like July,
Yeah.
we're doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times I didn't do anything for weeks, and there's nobody really asking questions.
Yeah, we're all on summer mode and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it's like, yeah, I do think it is, there's ups and downs of the job. And, you know, I think you have to remember, because you're right, not everybody knows what we do, or not everybody knows what it takes to plan a class or plan all these field trips. Try to check your, like, why are you doing this to me, when somebody encroaches on that time or isn't as respectful of the time. I'm always like, I'm just not going to answer it. Like if they text or call and it's time for me to do this, this, and this, or it's not my job, I'm like, no, I'll deal with that later. Like this is the time I have blocked off for this right now. This is really important for me when I do school with my kids, because a lot of people send texts and calls during that time. And I'm doing school with 3 kids. And I'm like, nope, not right now. I can answer that later. Unless it's a true emergency, like blah, blah, blah's house is burning down. You know, I'm going to obviously go help.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's not a true emergency, I'm just going to protect the time that I've blocked off to do what I need to do, and then I'll get back to it later, and vice versa.
I'll put you on the checklist.
Yes, I will. Don't joke. I do that. And I think it's sometimes good, and maybe we need to do this for our fellow community members, because it's really hard to be like, to do this for yourself, but like remind people you're a human being. Like I have to sleep too.
Yeah.
I have to eat too. My kids need me to bathe them too. You know, the baby isn't breastfeeding herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And maybe if you notice somebody struggling with that, like, and that's what I think Jim and our other leader were trying to do. And they're like, let's give her some of your jobs. And they were trying to be like, you're a human being. But, you know I'm a human being. But I think we need to do it with each other. Like, when I see somebody encroaching on Jen, I'd be like, Jen is a human being. Oh, I did it actually last week. I did it. Somebody was like, we should do this and this after the day is over. And I was like, that's too much work for Jen. She cannot stay at the building until 5 o'clock. And she doesn't want to do it. It was too stressful when we tried it before. Like, that's not on the table. Find a different location.
Yeah, or a different day, something.
And that's what I told her.
Or lunchtime or something.
And that was me being like, Jen is a human being and she can't be at a facility for 14 hours.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm doing it now and I don't like it.
Right. And it's just too much. She has a family. She has other responsibilities.
And
she needs to eat dinner.
Yeah. And I want to like socialize as well. You know,
Right.
like, you know,
Yeah.
everybody like after co-op generally goes to the park and they hang out and chat.
Right.
And I'm sitting there cleaning trash cans.
Right. Right. And so, yeah, I think it's really, it's helpful if you're working with somebody to be like, no, they're a human being too. You need to respect their time, because they're probably not going to do it for themselves because it sounds rude.
Yeah.
But I'll do it for somebody else in a second. Yeah. Because people often have no idea what others are investing. They just don't know. They don't know the logistics, and they don't need to. So it's helpful to kind of defend your fellow co-op teachers and co-op members in that way. That's when I always, and I always say, sometimes you need to let things not get done. If it's not your job, and it's not going to hurt anybody for it not to get done, let it lay there. And allow other people to know their working style, allow other people to prioritize this group as well, and see what happens, because that's really awesome when that happens, because then we have people who are like, I want to go on this field trip. I want to take the kids fishing. I want to plan our fabulous field day. We have such a good field day. Maybe we'll post some social media pictures of it when we do it, because it is amazing. We've done it for years. We never but that was completely motivated by one member of our co-op who wanted this for her family, for her community and her kid. And she throws it every year, and it's amazing.
It is.
And we let her. I'm like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because she does a great job. But we had to, we step back and let her do it, because she does way better than we could.
Absolutely.
And if you let people prioritize sometimes you get let down, but sometimes, more often than not, people are going to do amazing things with that if you allow them to do it.
And let them invest their own time.
So now, we talked about downtime. I don't know. So I bribe myself if I have to prioritize something.
How do you bribe yourself?
So
Is this one of those, I will treat myself to a Starbucks?
no, although a lot of people do that. I think that's great if that works for you. So this is how I like to work. I'll put my kids to bed. This especially works great if my husband is working on nights. And he works night shifts sometimes. I'll put my kids to bed and I will take a shower and I will make something I like to eat. Sometimes it's just dinner. Like it's just the normal, salad, whatever. And like a decaf coffee because I do have to sleep, or a tea or something I like to drink. And I will get in my bed with my food I'm eating alone and my laptop. And I will put on a TV show that I like, or a movie or documentary, because who doesn't love a little depression, while you're working? No, I like dark documentaries.
Me too.
I'll put all that on and I will work on inputting all the classes for CoOp while I eat. And it does take me longer if I do it that way, but it's like I'm surrounding it with all these positive things. And so it's like a treat because I'm alone. I'm sitting in my comfy bed. I love my bed with my blankets and my pillows. And I have something I like to eat. I have something entertaining to kind of distract me.
It doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work. And that's how and if I can't find hidden time during the day and I have to work at night, because I already said I hate working at night, I do that. And so I feel like you do need to, when you have to prioritize it, find a way to make it enjoyable. What do? Do you just plow through?
Yeah.
You don't add anything fun to it?
Well, not really fun. There's a lot of spice in my life, Brittany.
I'm not really fun, she says. You're fun. Well, you haven't seen her at an event that is based on the Indian holiday of Holi.
Well, anytime I can throw things at kids, it's a good time.
She walked up to us, and you guys heard about this in a previous podcast, but she walked up to me covered in rainbow dye after the event, and she goes, well, I was like, I didn't know you were going to play the game with the kids. And she goes, yeah, I didn't either. I owe CoOp $12. Because she'd used like 3 different things of powder that were $4 each that she wasn't supposed to use. I was like, threw it in kids' faces. We had like a no-head rule.
I didn't really mean to. I powder puffed them, and then I did throw one in a kid's face by accident. Really hard.
You got your own kid, didn't you? Was that you?
I don't know. I got lots of kids. It was fun.
Yeah. So
they loved it. They loved it.
She's a fun person. So then she plows through her work and then she goes and enjoys herself. So you compartmentalize. I don't. I'm like, that's all one big bed of fun and work. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we do. And we hope you've gleaned a tiny bit of either confidence or ideas to help manage your time so that you can give back to your homeschool community in some way, shape, or form and get a lot out of it. Alrighty. That's it for today. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and add our email at thevillagehomeschoolers@gmail.com. We'll talk to you soon.